So now our rolls have proofed, and again, what we're looking for is 2 times volume, and we want to touch them in an inconspicuous spot because that soft, that moist environment will cause the top to be sticky, and if that little dent stays in them, you know, right like that, you know they're pretty much there. Now these are a little underproofed because I got a little more work to do with them. I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna egg wash them, and then some of them I'm gonna put some seeds on it. I've already done some of these. Now let's have a little talk about brushes that we use. I am not a huge fan of these for egg washing. These are kind of crusty, and I'm not sure what they're crusty with. I'm hoping that it's sugar syrup, but chances are it's poorly washed and it's egg wash. No, this is all right. But when you load these up with egg wash, they're like a mop. They get full of egg wash, and then you go touch the first roll and it bleeds everywhere. So it's a good idea to clean your brush off a little bit. Okay? And then you go to your first roll and lay your brush kind of sideways. These bristles, again, are a little bit stiff from use. And so you just gently brush so that you've got egg wash on all sides. Now if you get a little excess, you can go back to this roll and then move some off to another roll, especially if it pools around the bottom edge. I call that a side of scrambled eggs. We don't want to serve that with our roll. I prefer silicone. Now let me say this, I don't like silicone in cooking for the same reason I don't like Teflon. I don't think we understand the full ramifications. If you can't season a skillet properly, maybe that's what you need to be working on and not worrying about your eggs not sticking. But since there's not going to be any heat, I do like a silicone brush for this because I can clean those bristles really well without any worry about there being any residual egg wash. Now, it does not hold egg wash like a hair brush or a poly brush, but I can get enough on there to do 1 roll and then go back and get a little more. Now, let me talk for a second about egg washing stations and glazing stations. And I think we've done a little bit of this in the past. I want to make sure that we set up with 2 trays across from each other and 2 trays on either side. So there can be 4 trays around this bowl of egg wash. I don't want 1 bowl of egg wash traveling from table to table to table to table, so people are waiting a long time. Let's get around. We can all egg wash at the same time. Just reach in there, get your brush a little wet, and go to work. Another nice thing about silicone bristles is they tend to have a little flex in them, so that they don't push your roll around. If you notice your roll's doing a lot of moving, probably you're pushing a little too hard and you need to use the flat of the brush just a little more. So I'm gonna slide these extras over here. And again, my technique, load up your brush, make sure you hit the sides. What I'm gonna be looking for, especially on your final exam, is good egg wash all the way around. Now I only have 2 of these silicone brushes, so you can use them, but some of you are going to have to use those bristle brushes, which again, I'm not a fan of. Egg wash is simply a quantity of eggs with about 1/4 as much water added to it. Eric whipped up these eggs for us. He blended the eggs first, so he whisked the eggs so they were all broken up, and then we stirred in the water. Don't add the water to the eggs and stand there trying to bust up those eggs, because you'll generate a lot of foam that you don't want. Whisk your eggs first, and then add your water. And it's about a 1/4 as much water as you had eggs. So then we're gonna seed. You can use a lot of different things. I could use sesame seeds, I could use crushed nuts. Here I've got some poppy seeds and some sesame seeds. Those are 2 of my favorites. And when you seed, don't make it not look like that's an accident. Okay, that's not seeding a roll. This is seeding a roll. Now, sometimes I'll put just a little bit on and then come back with the other kind and put a little of that, so you get 2 seeds on a roll. Gives you 2 different colors, and that can be attractive. Sometimes just the sesame seeds, which are some of my favorite seeds. Sometimes I just leave them plain, and that gives me multiple looks on 1 tray of rolls. Missed one. Make sure you get them all well egg washed. Okay, once that's done, probably they've had plenty of time to proof, and they've finished up the proofing. Okay, so they're ready for the oven. So we've egg washed, we've seeded, no docking is required because of the egg wash and because expansion is not an issue. And you can see my rolls have gotten a little bigger even as we've sat here. So we're gonna go to the oven. 375 for about 10 minutes would be the first time I'd check them. They're gonna take about 14 minutes, but you always wanna go and look a little early. So 375 for about 14 minutes, GB&D, and we'll come back and take a look at them then, okay? Any questions?